Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Math with Dr. Ware. I'm actually bringing you a requested video. Someone requested a simple interest, and I also threw in compound interest because of the exponential growth and decay. You kind of see that in some of those problems at times. So on the task test, on the reference sheet, they do give you interest, and they give you the formula for simple interest, which is I equals PRT, and they go on to identify who is P, R, T, and I. P is the principal, which is the beginning amount. R is the annual interest rate, and you have to convert this to a decimal. The T is the time in years, and I is the interest. So let's look at some problems. Now, in the first problem, it says a customer will borrow $12,000 to buy a car. So this $12,000 is your principal. Which loan option would allow the customer to pay the least amount of interest? So we want the least amount of interest. Now, since we have to work out the interest for 4 types of loans, this would be a calculator problem. We all know that the formula is I equals to the principal multiplied by the rate multiplied by the time. So I'm going to get my calculator, and we're going to start with the first one. We have a 4-year loan with a 5.2% annual interest rate. That's all we need. And we already know that the principal is $12,000. So I'm going to start with $12,000. So notice I'm not writing anything down. So I'm going to start with $12,000. I'm going to multiply it by the rate. I'm going to use the rate as it is, and I'm going to show you why, because I don't want you doing extra stuff to waste time. So we have 5.2, and then I'm going to multiply by the time. The time is 4, and then I'm going to divide everything by 100. So instead of me changing the 5.2% to a decimal, I'm just going to include it here by dividing by 100. Dividing by 100 is going to convert that 5.2%. And I hit enter, and the interest rate for that is going to be $24.96. So I'm going to write that here, $24.96. I'm also going to write here 4 years is the time, and 5.2% is your rate. And this is your time. Now notice, if you're on the task test, do not clear this out. Let's do it again. 12,000. We're going to multiply by the rate, which is 4.2. We're going to multiply by the time, which now is a 5-year loan, and then we're going to divide by 100. That's 25.20. Let's go to H. We have a $12,000 loan. The interest rate is 4.7, and it's a 6-year loan. And then let's divide by 100. That's $33.84. And last but not least, we're going to go to the last one, which is a 3-year loan. So we have 12,000 times 8.4 times 3 and divide by 800. And that comes to a value of 30. And I think it was 24. Yes, I was correct. 30.24. So we're looking to pay the least amount of interest, and if you're going to pay the least amount of interest, the best bet will be to take the 4-year loan with a 5.2% annual interest rate. So our answer is F. Let's move on. Okay. All right. Here we have a student's parents invested $5,000 in college savings account that pays 4.85% annually, simple interest. No additional deposit or withdrawals will be made. Which amount is closest to the interest earned on the account at the end of 15 years? So we have the principal, we have the rate, we have the time. And we know that interest is the principal multiplied by the rate multiplied by the time. Now with these types of questions, you will have to use a calculator. This is a lot of multiplication. So I'm going to take 5,000 and I'm going to times it by 4.85, and then I'm going to times it by 15, and then I'm going to divide by 100 to change that rate to a decimal, and I hit enter, and notice I get $3,637.50. So this is the interest at the end of 15 years. Okay, let's look at the next one. So this one has compound interest. And as I told you, compound interest is similar to exponential growth. So that's why I decided to use this one. So here, this says Ben deposits $1,750 into each of two savings accounts. Account 1 earns 2.75 annual simple interest, and account 2 earns 2.75% interest compound annually. Ben does not make any additional deposit or withdrawals. Which amount is the closest to the difference between the interest Ben will earn in account 1 and the interest Ben will earn in account 2 at the end of 2 years? So account 1 is pretty simple. So that's just the principal multiplied the rate multiplied by the time. So that's 1750, which is going to be multiplied by 2.75, which is going to be multiplied by 2, and then we're going to divide that by 100. So 1750 times 2.75 times 2 and divide by 100. So this is $96.25. And notice that's here at A as answer A. So that's the interest that you will earn for account number 1. Now account 2 is a compound annually. So for the compound annually, that's going to be, and they don't give you this. So if you know about the exponential growth and decay, it's A, and then you have your principal, you have 1 plus the rate, and then that's raised by T. So you have seen this before when we did exponential growth. So you have your 1750, you have 1 plus the 2.75, and the time is 2 years. Now here we're going to have to change this to a decimal. So that's 1750. This will be 1 plus 0.0275 raised to the 2. So remember, this must be a decimal. Okay, so you could also do the same thing with dividing by 100. So we're going to put that in our calculator. But it's kind of, I like to change it for these types. When it's compound, I like to change it. So let's clear that. So we have 1750. And I open my parentheses. And I have 1 plus 0.0275. Close that. Raise it to the second power. And then I hit enter. And that gives me a value, and I know this value looks weird. This gives me a value of 1847.57. So 1847.57. Let's check again. Yeah, so there's a 3 there, so that remains 7. Now this A is the total amount, okay? So this A right here is the total amount. So if we want the interest, we have to take 1847.57 and subtract 1750 to actually get our answer. So this is pretty simple. I'm going to do this by hand. So this is 7. I'm going to borrow from here. So that's 14. So we want 5 from 14. So that's 9. Account number 2 is going to have $97.57. And notice that is here too. Now, remember, you're on the TASC test. If we want to know, because what they said is they want to know which amount is closest to the difference So what does difference tell us to do? Subtract. So we would have to subtract the interest from both accounts. So let me put this in red. This is account 1 and this is account 2. Now, I don't even need to pick up my calculator to subtract. Look at your answers. If you subtract these two numbers, what would you get? I am hoping you would choose B, which is $1.32. If I didn't even know the answer to this, I would have chose the $1.32 because I would have worked out the simple interest and got 96.25, so the compound interest wouldn't be too far off. So once I get the 96.25, I would just guess that the compound will be 97.57 because remember, you're doing it for 2 years, not a lot of time. Like, so in 2 years, how much money would it earn? Not a lot, especially at 2.75%. So that's my answer. Okay, finally, we have one of these interpretation problems. A teacher opened an investment account at a bank at the end of each year. The bank paid 6.4 annual interest on the money in the account. The table shows the activity in the account for 3 years. So notice year 1, the beginning balance was 0. The teacher then deposited $500. The new balance is $500. The interest rate is 6.4%. It earned $32 in interest. Therefore, at the end of the year, you have $532. So remember, you put money in the bank, you get interest. So you get paid for putting your money in the bank. These interest rates are totally false. No one gets 6.4%. We wish we did. Notice on year 2, the beginning balance is $532. Here comes the teacher again and deposit $500. So the new balance is $1,032 and they're going to put 6.4% interest on that, and that is $66.05. So the ending balance is $1,098.05. So that's not a balance for year 3. The teacher again does the same thing, put in $500. The balance goes up to $1,598 with 5 cents. It's the same interest rate. The interest now on that amount of money is $102.28. So at the end of the year, the teacher actually has $1,700.33. And they said, which statement explains why the balance in this account has grown? A says the balance in the account has grown only because regular deposits were made to the account. That is false. You can make regular deposits, but there's an interest rate. B says the balance in the account has grown because regular deposits, okay, that is true. They made regular deposits, were made to the account, and interest was earned on the previous year's balance. That is true. So remember when year 2, when you had 532 and they deposited 500 and then the new balance was 1,032 and then interest was earned on that to bring you to 1098. If you're still not sure, you could go to C, which says the balance in the account has grown only because interest was earned on the account. That is not true. The teacher was making deposits of $500 at the beginning of the year. And D says there's not enough information to determine why the balance in the account has grown. Well, that is not true because they provide us with the interest rate, they provided us with the beginning balance, which is the principal, and they told us that it was going from year to year. So your answer is B. So these are simple interest problems. If you see them on the TASC test, they'll probably be in the calculator section. I hope this was helpful for whoever requested this. Again, if you're taking your test in the next few weeks, good luck. If you like the content, please like, subscribe, share. And again, if you want a requested video, just put it in the comments and I will get to it. Simple interest is very hard to find. I had to dig so deep this weekend to find these problems. It is crazy. Couldn't find them on Regents in New York State, so I had to look outside. Again, have a great day. and good luck on your TASC test.